What if I told you that doing well for your prelims will really set you up for your final exams?
What's your name? Green! I got 100 on my dash, got 200 in my truck.
Hey Washana, this is your favorite uncle, and it's good to be back. Well, we've reached prelim season, and the purpose of this video is really to help you to prepare for your prelims. I'm going to give you some nuggets of wisdom, some advice on how you can do so. But secondly, I want to challenge you about living up to your potential. Maybe let me start there. Guys, we've got ample opportunity to do well for our prelims, but sometimes I feel that some of you never really use the resources that you have to the best of your ability. Amongst the resources that you've got, this channel, you've got your textbooks, you've got teachers, but you've got also other channels that can help you to do well for your prelims. But sometimes I just feel that some of you really drag your feet and only leave it up to the last minute to prepare. I think sometimes we lack the understanding of what prelims really mean, or perhaps sometimes we don't have the motivation, and that's where I really would like for us to zero in. Please take your life seriously. Don't leave things to the last minute, because at the end of the day, you are shortchanging yourself. You are robbing yourself of really living up to your potential. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I really hope that you will start to think differently around your life. Think about what you want, your goals, your priorities, and really, guys, post-matric, after matric, it really is a jungle out there. And think about that, Think about the number of people that are waiting on the unemployment line and so on. And I'm really not trying to tell you this to scare you, but I'm trying to get you guys to think critically about where you want to be in your future. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's get into preparing for your prelims. So I thought about some of the things that I want you guys to consider. One is that prelims contribute 5 to 7% towards your final exam mark. So from that perspective, they are very important. But number two, statistically speaking, learners who tend to do well for the prelims have a high chance of doing well for the final exams. So I think it's something that you want to think about very critically, and you really want to push yourself to the limit. So how do we then study for the prelims? All right. Here's a couple of nuggets that I want you to consider. Number one, having a personal study timetable. Guys, this is not the time to be motivating you about creating your own study timetable. Now, I'm not talking about the timetable that they give you at school, where you attend geography in the first period or whatever it may be, maths in the second, and so on. I'm talking about the timetable that you follow for study purposes. Meaning, when I get home at 5 o'clock, or when I get home at 6 o'clock, or whatever time that you arrive at home, what's the first thing that I do? Okay? Now, all of us are different, and our circumstances are not the same. Some of you may get home and perhaps maybe feeling tired at the beginning. Perhaps you want to rest first. But the problem is that some of you never really get to rest, because the moment you think about rest, you get your cell phone in front of you and you're on TikTok, you're on other social media platforms, and you are watching. The next thing you know, it's dark, it's 10 o'clock, and you've blown about 4 or 5 hours and you haven't even touched a thing in terms of your studies. So when I talk about rest, I mean plan your rest. What do I mean? I mean, you can get home and say, well, for the first 2 hours, I want to perhaps grab something to eat and switch off. Meaning, you either sleep or you do something else other than study. What I'm just advocating for is please get yourself a personal study timetable. Now, in your study timetable, it means perhaps I'm just making an example. On Monday, you could say, I am going to study physical science for 2 hours. And in those 2 hours, I am going to be looking at vertical projectile motion as well as Newton's laws. So what are you going to do? You're going to prepare questions, or you're going to take past exam question papers that you're going to walk through, or rather study with. Try to answer the questions, and please put a time limit to that, okay? So if a question is out of 20 marks, for instance, you'll say, well, I'll finish that question within 25 minutes, okay? And once you are done, mark yourself and see where it is that you've gone wrong. Now, what that does is that it gives you the ability to check whether it is that you understand that section, and if you don't, then you can still zero in, perhaps by watching a YouTube video, or you can, go through the memo, or whatever method that you would prepare. So what I'm saying is that your study timetable must be very specific. You can't just say, I'm going to study maths for 2 hours. That's not, is really not what I mean when I say you must have a study timetable. So it means if you're going to say maths, you must say on Monday, I am focusing on functions, okay? On Tuesday, I am focusing on financial maths. So your study timetable must be a guide that's going to tell you blow by blow what it is that you are going to cover on a daily basis, but precisely at which time, okay? Now, so that's your study timetable. The second thing that I really want to warn you about is this is not the time to be sentimental, but be assertive. Now, often enough, I've found that people still attend school programs that are not beneficial to them, right? If your school has an after-school program, or it has a remedial program, whatever it is, maybe SIP classes or whatever the case is, and you've been attending those throughout the year and they have not been helpful, guys, as I said to you, this is not the time to be sentimental. It doesn't matter even if your teachers try to force you, or if your school makes it mandatory. If it is not helpful towards you, please discontinue and find something else that is going to be helpful. Now, let me make an example. A student of mine, and in fact, I think you very well know her. So what she told me is that her mom insisted that she stops attending the school program, and instead there was a program that she enrolled her into that helped her towards her studies. And I mean, she did well. She's doing medicine as we speak, right? So what I'm just trying to say to you is be assertive. If it is that the program that you've been attending, or whatever method you've been using has not been beneficial or helpful, please discontinue that and find something that is going to help you towards your studies. I'll say this again. Do not be sentimental, be assertive. Now, another thing that I want you to consider, how then do you approach your study or your preparation towards the prelim? So, on your subject, let's say, and I'm going to make maths as an example, if you're going to be revising mathematics right now, please do not start with those sections that, number one, you haven't covered as yet, or those sections that you really know that you're struggling with, right? So here's my advice on how you would kind of approach it. So firstly, start with the section that you enjoy the most. Why? This is going to help you to kind of, appetize you, or it's going to help you towards enjoying your study time, right? because you want to lean into that motivational part of your study time, right? So it means that you're going to start with the part that you enjoy first and gradually move towards the more difficult and gradually move towards the stuff that you have not covered. Now, I'm mindful. All of us are at different places. Maybe some of you have not covered certain sections, or perhaps even if you did not understand a thing. So right now, you're going to use your resources, right? So start revising first the sections that you've already covered, that you know, that you enjoyed, okay? Please don't leave them to chance and think that just because you enjoyed them, it means you are likely to do well with those. So what that is going to do is it's going to help you to kind of lean in to your study time. Start with something that kind of gives you motivation, and over time, then you cultivate the discipline and move towards the more challenging stuff. Okay, so in that way, it will keep you motivated. Now, the use of past papers. It's very important that at this time you really consider moving away from the textbook and moving more towards using past examination papers. All right? Now, it is very important, guys, that before you actually go and sit in for your exam, you have at least spent at least one sitting or one session where you've gone through an entire question paper, so that you can assess yourself in terms of 1, content, number 2, time. Time management is extremely crucial. Remember, when it comes to the exam, you're not just battling against just the content, but your biggest enemy is time. So ensure that you are able to complete the full, for instance, mathematics, that's a 3-hour exam. So make sure that you are able to complete the full 150 marks within 3 hours, okay? It is very important. So, which means that you are now going to break down your study time into time, where you are looking at question papers, you are tackling specific questions. So for instance, if you are looking at financial mathematics, or if you're looking at statistics, right, you're going to look at statistics, answer all the questions, look at your memo, and then try and mark what you've done. If there are still sections that you still find problematic, this is the time to watch YouTube videos that are going to help you in that regard. Now, guys, I want to kind of end it here, but before I leave it to the end, I want to talk about really living up to your potential. My concern, as I said at the beginning, is that some of you are really capable, but the problem is that you have not lived up to your potential. Please, I want you to think about this. You've got all the resources that you need. You've got your educators, your teachers at school. You've got the YouTube channel that you can use, my YouTube channel. You've got other YouTube channels as well. But here's the thing. Some of you are still struggling with peer pressure. Right now, I really want you to think about the people that you surround yourself with. If they are not pushing you to live up to your potential, those are the people you shouldn't be with. 1, it means that they don't want the best for you. Secondly, it means that those people really don't want the best for themselves. That's not the company that you want to keep. So I really want you to think critically about the company that you keep. If it is that you kind of motivate one another around things that are not helpful to your future, those are not the people that you want to spend time with. Instead, you want to be with people that are going to motivate you. You want to be with people that are going to challenge you. So you want people that are not going to get you to be complacent. I'm going to say this ngesizulu. Ngiyanicela bantwana bami. This is the time to think about your future. This is the time to really live up to your potential. Now, the second thing that I want you to consider in living up to your potential, think about how you spend your time. Some of you claim to be studying. You close yourself into your room. You convince your parents that you are studying. All the while, you are spending countless hours on social media, doom scrolling, and doing things that are not helpful towards your studies. Now, it's not going to help you to spend time having closed yourself, having an opportunity to really do the best that you can in utilizing your time effectively, but really blowing that. Okay, so I want you to think about how you spend your time. So that means, someone was talking about the 9-to-5 principle, right? We always consider 9 to 5 for work, but 9 to 5 sometimes has to do with your sleep, right? Meaning that consider the time that you sleep, your sleeping patterns, right? So that you are well rested, you are able to go on with your day as you should. But also, when you have budgeted time for study, use that time for exactly that. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're going to use the time that you've budgeted for what you actually want to utilize it for. So think about that. Think about how you use your time, and think about using your time very wisely. Okay? And then lastly, I want you to take stock of your resources. So it's not going to help you to sit in a desk. Your textbook is in the living room, right? Your pens are in the other room next door. So when you think of your resources, when you are going to be sitting down to study, use all these resources. Make sure that all the resources that you require are exactly where you need them to be. Otherwise, then you're going to find yourself wasting time, moving around, and just using time ineffectively. So guys, I started by saying, what if your prelims can set you up for your final exams? And I believe that prelims have got exactly that, they are able to do that for you. So think about these prelims. Attend, the classes that you think are necessary. Use your time wisely and effectively. And if it is that you need assistance, for me, in terms of maths and science, we've got prelim preparation sessions. You may attend those, but please guys, I did say I don't just want any person for those sessions. Those sessions are for people that are prepared. Those sessions are for people that would be saying, we need specific assistance on specific topics, not someone who's going to say, I just don't know where to start. I will be able to assist you in that. We'll give you more information in that regard. Guys, I wish you all of God's best for these coming prelims. Please think carefully around them and remember that they will set you up towards your final exam. From me, your favorite uncle, I'll see you guys again next time. Shap shap.